Have you ever wondered how a global pop star, famous for being part of the Spice Girls, managed to transform her career and reinvent herself as one of the most successful entrepreneurs in fashion? It may seem unlikely, but Victoria Beckham did just that, and it wasn't easy in the business world. The transition from an established career to something completely new is full of obstacles. When Victoria left the music stage, many doubted her ability to thrive in the fashion world. Fame might have helped, but the pressure of being more than just a celebrity launching a brand was enormous. However, she not only exceeded expectations, but redefined the concept of entrepreneurial success. By investing in authenticity, innovation, and a unique strategic vision, she built a powerful brand that goes far beyond her famous name. In this video, we explore how Victoria Beckham used her perseverance, forward-thinking, and unstoppable approach to turn a venture into an empire. In 1994, fate found an unlikely path for 5 young women who, together, would forever alter the course of pop music. The Spice Girls weren't just a group, they were a revolution, an explosion of energy, attitude, and, above all, a message that echoed across the 4 corners of the world. Girl power, and among them all, Victoria, with her impeccable looks, became the embodiment of style and sophistication. Posh Spice, a woman who defied pop stereotypes with her reserved yet powerful posture. Her name and image became trademarks associated with an idea of class and elegance. But, like any success story, the shine doesn't last forever. And after years of touring and overwhelming success, the group fragmented, and with that, Victoria saw her empire of fame crumble. What was left was a woman known throughout the world, but without knowing exactly who she would be without her Posh Spice persona. Suddenly, the stage goes dark, the lights go out, and the music stops. What comes next? A celebrity without a clear script. Victoria finds herself alone on a new stage, that of real life, where the role of pop star no longer serves. What remains is an echo of fame that, to survive, needs something deeper, something authentic, behind the scenes, away from the cameras and the pressures of show business. Victoria discovers a new world, fashion, something she's always loved, but which until then seemed like a distant dream. Clothes weren't just clothing for her, they were art, and perhaps this was the chance she'd been looking for. But the question that echoed in her mind was, am I capable of creating something of value besides being famous? While the world saw her as a reflection of sophistication, Victoria decided to fight her own demons and everyone's doubts. She launched herself into the world of fashion, knowing it wouldn't be an easy journey. The challenge, proving that, behind the name, there was a visionary with something real to offer. 2008, a milestone. The stage was different now. The cameras were far away, but the fashion world, with its relentless demands, was before Victoria. With the same confidence with which she introduced herself to the world as Posh Spice, she now prepared for a new launch, her own clothing line. Victoria Beckham, no longer a pop star, but a designer. The goal, to defy expectations, to prove that she was not just a celebrity, but a creator. The first show was a risk. The criticism started coming, cruel and fast. A celebrity trying to be a designer, they said. A worthless name, they pondered. But she was no longer the woman who expected approval. Now she was a businesswoman, and there was no going back. Amidst the criticism, Victoria was stronger. With each collection, she perfected her vision. With each piece, she put a piece of her soul. And with that, little by little, the Victoria Beckham line began to find its place, not only in the market, but in fashion history. Every dress, every cut, every detail, a reflection of her passion and her desire to reinvent herself. In the music world, Victoria was already accustomed to being watched, but now the stage was different. A stage without instant applause, where public opinion judged her not just by her image, but by the real value of what she was creating. The fashion world, like music, was ruthless, but unlike the bright lights of the stage, fashion demanded something more: skill, vision, authenticity. Victoria sits alone in the design studio, surrounded by fabrics, sketches, and swatches. The soft sound of a sewing machine lingers in the background, She peers intently at the models, trying to make sense of their ideas and translate their vision into the garments she's created. But soon, a question lingers. Can I really do this? The biggest challenge for Victoria was proving herself not just to the world, but to herself. As a woman who had already been consumed by the fame of the Spice Girls, she didn't want to be seen as just a celebrity selling a name. She wanted to create something that had substance, something that was authentic. Every piece, every detail, was a step away from the shadow of her public persona and show the world her true passion. For fashion, Victoria Beckham's first collection was launched in 2008, but not without resistance. At her first presentations, the criticism was relentless. She was called a celebrity trying to be a designer, and many doubted her ability to be taken seriously. The fashion industry was accustomed to established designers with careers built over decades. The criticism was harsh. Another celebrity trying to get into fashion, they said. What does she know about design? Those who were ready to dismiss her name didn't know there was more to Victoria Beckham than just an image. She wasn't just trying to create clothes, she was trying to create a legacy. Victoria is alone in her conference room, looking at sketches for her next collection. She takes a deep breath and, with determination, begins making adjustments to one of the dresses. The criticism still echoes in her mind, but now there's something different in her gaze. She's no longer concerned with what others think. Her vision is clearer than ever. The doubt that had paralyzed her for a time began to turn into fuel. Victoria knew that fashion was a tough industry, where talent was often more important than fame, and she wasn't willing to let the fear of failure define her journey. Every mistake became a lesson, every criticism an opportunity to perfect her craft. Victoria Beckham's reinvention wouldn't be easy, but she knew she was ready. As she faced the challenges of the industry, new opportunities also rose. In a world saturated with brands and styles, Victoria began to carve out a unique niche for her line. It wasn't just about the name, it was about what she represented: sophistication, modernity, a new take on the confident, powerful woman, the woman she wanted to be. Victoria carefully observes the first pieces of her new collection, featuring bolder, more modern cuts. She knows she has something unique on her hands, something that can truly set her brand apart. The designer begins making adjustments, testing new approaches, and looking to the future with greater optimism. The opportunity was right there, in plain sight. Victoria began to realize that the true strength of her brand lay in her unique vision. She was no longer trying to fit a mold. She was creating her own path. Each piece was not just a reflection of what she wore, but an expression of who she was. The Victoria Beckham brand begins to gain recognition, no longer seen simply as a celebrity clothing line, but as a brand with identity and quality. Doors open, invited to major fashion shows. Her brand begins to appear in fashion magazines and on the most prestigious catwalks. Her presence as a designer is solidified. As the doors opened, the name Victoria Beckham was no longer just a brand, but a symbol of perseverance. She was no longer seen as the former Spice Girl, but as a respected designer. The woman who had been criticized was now being applauded for her ability to create luxury pieces with an innovative and, above all, authentic eye. Over time, what seemed like a risk turned into a success story. Victoria Beckham not only faced criticism, but used it as a springboard to achieve what she wanted most: a legitimate and respected place in the fashion world. And the industry began to realize that beyond the famous name, there was a real designer with her own innovative vision. In the end, Victoria's journey showed the world that true opportunity lies not in a name, but in her ability to reinvent herself. The transition from Spice Girl to successful businesswoman wasn't just a career shift, it was a profound transformation of identity. And with it, Victoria Beckham came to be seen not as a celebrity, but as a fashion visionary. Initially, many looked at Victoria Beckham and saw just a celebrity trying to make something more. She knew the road would be tough, but her vision was clear: to build a fashion brand that was more than just a reflection of her name. Her mission was not to be another soulless luxury brand, but to create something that represented her true essence. In a minimalist, well-lit office, Victoria sits at a table, discussing with her team. She carefully examines the fabrics and sketches and jots down notes in a notebook. The passion in her eyes is palpable. She knows the financial and emotional investment in this project will be immense. Victoria didn't just lend her name to a brand. She went further. She dove headfirst into the creative process, dedicating herself to designing the pieces, working side by side with stylists and other experts. The risk was great, as she was investing her own money and reputation in something that was still unknown, but she believed in what she was creating. Victoria is in a meeting with designers and stylists, looking at the first sketches of the collection. She points to the sketches, discussing the cuts, fabrics, and color palette. With each new piece, she conveys her vision of a confident, sophisticated, yet approachable woman. For Victoria, every piece of clothing was a story, every dress, a statement of style and attitude. She wanted her brand to represent powerful, elegant, and independent women who didn't need much to shine. But what truly set her apart from other brands was her ability to understand that luxury didn't have to be unattainable. Her collections were for real women. But above all, Victoria didn't want her brand to be built solely on the status or fame of her name. She knew that the true identity of Victoria Beckham should be defined by quality, attention to detail, and innovation in design. It needed to have substance. In a haute couture factory, Victoria closely inspects the pieces being produced. She touches the fabric, examines the details of the stitching, and speaks with the artisans at work. The focus is on every detail. There's no room for error. Every piece must be perfect. Quality has always been the cornerstone of her brand. Victoria didn't settle for good enough. She wanted her clothes to be exceptional. The craftsmanship of each piece was meticulously controlled, from the cutting of the fabric to the final stitching. She knew that true differentiation lay in the meticulous craftsmanship and excellence that her brand represented. Her clothing line's reputation began to spread, not just because she was a former Spice Girl, but because the clothes she created were truly something special. Women began to notice the difference, and little by little, the biggest names in the fashion industry began to recognize her ability to create sophisticated, high-quality pieces with universal appeal. Scene 4. The launch of the first collection. The big day arrives. The show of her first collection is a true debut, not only for Victoria, but for her brand. The audience is attentive, the press is present, and the cameras capture every moment. Victoria watches from the sidelines, nervous, but with a satisfied smile on her face. When the last piece is shown, the audience applauds. The line was a success. The 2008 show was a landmark. Expectations were sky high, but Victoria stayed true to her vision. The collection, comprised of sophisticated and elegant pieces, conveyed exactly what she wanted: accessible luxury, not just for the elite, but for any woman who wanted to feel confident and powerful. The fashion world watched and applauded, but more importantly, she knew that her brand's success wouldn't come from just the visibility of a runway show or immediate recognition. True victory would come from consistency, the ability to reinvent itself each season, and above all, from truly connecting with its target audience. Scene 5. Partnerships and international growth. Now, with her brand recognized, Victoria begins to expand her horizons. She collaborates with major industry names, creates strategic partnerships, and opens exclusive stores in key cities around the world. Images show the new stores in London, New York, and Paris, always with lines of customers waiting to purchase her collections. Over the years, the Victoria Beckham brand has grown. She didn't just create a clothing line, she created a network of partners, a network of influencers who believed in her vision. Exclusive stores began opening in the world's most prestigious cities, and the name Victoria Beckham became synonymous with luxury and sophistication. International expansion was a decisive step in establishing her brand as a truly global player. But Victoria knew that her true strength lay in her quality control, vision, and genuine relationships with her customers. Each new store was not just a point of sale, but a physical representation of her dedication. Scene 6. Fashion industry recognition. Victoria is seen receiving awards and being recognized for her contributions to the fashion industry. She's at a high-profile event, receiving praise from other designers and business people. The audience applauds as she takes the stage to receive an award for excellence. Over time, the fashion industry recognized what the world already knew. Victoria Beckham had created a brand that was here to stay. She was no longer seen as a celebrity, but as an innovative designer and a respected businesswoman. She had overcome initial criticism and proved that her brand was much more than a famous name. It was a symbol of elegance, quality, and authenticity. And so, Victoria Beckham's fashion journey became a story of dedication and resilience. She built her brand with more than just her name. She built it with her vision, with hard work, and with the conviction that fashion isn't just about clothes, it's about the impact one piece can have on a woman's life. In a market where competition is fierce and innovation is key to success, Victoria Beckham didn't just follow trends, she redefined them. With a unique vision, her personal values and design principles formed the solid foundation of her brand, allowing her to stand out in a crowded field. Scene 1. The quest for impeccable quality. Victoria is intently examining a prototype dress, touching the fabric and adjusting it. While her design team watches, she's focused, but her gaze conveys an unshakable certainty about what she wants to achieve: perfection. The first value Victoria established in her brand was the relentless pursuit of quality. Unlike other brands that sometimes settle for good enough, Victoria knew that true differentiation lay in an absolute commitment to excellence. From the fabrics to the finishes, every detail was an opportunity to show that her brand was dedicated to something much more than superficial luxury. For her, quality wasn't just a matter of aesthetics, it was a matter of respect for the workmanship and for the women who wore her pieces. Scene 2. The balance between elegance and functionality. In a meeting with her team, Victoria discusses the balance between sophistication and practicality. She explains how her clothes should be both elegant and functional, allowing women to feel powerful but also comfortable on any occasion. Victoria always believed that fashion shouldn't just be something to admire, but something to live in. She knew that women needed pieces that were both practical and sophisticated, so she maintained a constant focus on designing clothes that reflected women's modern, dynamic lifestyles. For her, a dress shouldn't just be pretty. It should allow a woman to feel confident and comfortable. Victoria is looking at a shelf full of awards and recognition, but her focus is clear: the satisfaction of creating something that truly has her signature, something that resonates with her own identity and style vision. Another fundamental principle that guides Victoria's brand is authenticity. She never tried to be something she wasn't, nor did she follow current trends just to stand out. From the beginning, her brand reflected who she truly was: an elegant, sophisticated, and above all, authentic woman. She stayed true to her vision, even when the market tried to push her into passing fads. This earned her respect, as her authenticity shone through in every collection. Furthermore, consistency was key to this process. Victoria didn't make radical changes every season, but always sought a natural evolution. She knew her audience was looking for more than just luxury clothing. They wanted to trust her vision, knowing that with each collection they would find something innovative, yet still maintaining the essence of her brand. Victoria observes a model in the dressing room before a show. She offers a few words of encouragement, caring about how each woman feels wearing her clothes. She notes that her collection is designed for different body types and women of all ages and lifestyles. Women have always been at the center of Victoria's vision. Her brand wasn't about creating clothes that simply sold well, but about creating something that truly empowered women. Each collection was designed to highlight the beauty and confidence of women, regardless of their body shape or age. Victoria believed that true fashion should embrace diversity, and this was one of the pillars of her brand. Victoria is in a meeting with suppliers, discussing more sustainable alternatives for producing her clothes. She talks about the environmental impact of the fashion industry and how her brand is working to be more responsible. At a time when the fashion world is beginning to reflect on its environmental impact, Victoria Beckham has decided to be part of the change. From the beginning, she made more conscious decisions, seeking sustainable alternatives for her collections. Although fashion is still one of the most polluting industries on the planet, she didn't want to turn a blind eye to this. Her brand has committed to adopting more responsible practices whenever possible. For her, the luxury of the future shouldn't sacrifice the planet. Victoria watches the model wearing a dress from her latest collection, smiling confidently and powerfully into the mirror. Soft music in the background creates a sense of empowerment. The camera focuses on the details of the piece, which exudes sophistication, but also a modern energy. And above all, what always guided Victoria was her desire to empower women. Every piece of clothing she designed had one intention: to help women feel powerful, comfortable, and confident in their own skin. The brand Victoria Beckham became synonymous with this, a brand that didn't just sell clothes, but a sensation, a transformation. The women who wore her creations weren't just choosing a dress, they were choosing a way to see themselves in the world with elegance, power, and authenticity. These values and principles have helped Victoria Beckham stand out in a crowded and unforgiving market. More than a fashion brand, she built a legacy, a brand that was and always will be a representation of who she is, a strong, independent woman who was never afraid to be authentic and who always made quality and truth her highest priority. When Victoria Beckham decided to follow her heart and launch herself into the world of fashion, she knew she was entering uncharted territory. The glamour of the runways and magazine covers contrasted with the harshness of a ruthless and competitive market. Doubts about her ability to succeed outside the music scene began to emerge, and with them, a series of personal and professional challenges that she would have to face. Scene 1. The first doubts, the weight of expectation. Victoria is in her office, looking at the first samples of her collection. Her look of uncertainty is palpable. She picks up her phone and checks the reviews in her inbox. Each message is an avalanche of judgment. The cutting words, the questions about her design ability, and the pressure of being a celebrity in a new field begin to take their toll. In the beginning, the pressure was immense. She knew her name was already a global icon, but being a celebrity didn't automatically make her a good designer. The critics were merciless. It wasn't just about designing clothes. It was about proving to the world that she had what it took to succeed outside of music. She was judged not just by her work, but also by her story. She's just famous, they said. Does she really have talent? Victoria sits at a table, looking at magazines and photos of renowned designers like Karl Lagerfeld and Donna Karan, who dominated the fashion scene for decades. She feels the weight of comparison and her lack of experience alongside names who have built careers over a lifetime. Constant comparisons were being made, and the weight of them was hard to bear. She was entering an industry where giants had made their mark, too many. Victoria Beckham was just a celebrity trying to fill a space already filled by true icons. Her lack of real design experience was a disadvantage, and she knew it. In a conference room, Victoria is in a meeting with her team. The tone is serious, and she receives direct criticism about one of the pieces in her collection. Her look of frustration is visible, but she quickly composes herself. She takes a deep breath, cracks a smile, and asks for more feedback, willing to learn from the process. The criticism was harsh, not only about her ability to create, but about her choice to change her path. Many questioned whether she truly had the skills to make it in fashion. For her, doubt was constant, but instead of letting it get her down, she used this criticism as fuel to improve and learn. Her mind was determined, her passion unwavering. If someone said she couldn't do it, she told herself, "I'm going to prove I can." Scene 4. The fight against celebrity image at a fashion event. Victoria is surrounded by journalists who ask more about her personal life and her marriage to David Beckham than about her collection. She answers patiently, but deep inside, the discomfort is clear. She knew that to be taken seriously, she would have to show that fashion was not just a hobby or an extension of her public life. Even as fashion's doors began to open, Victoria's journey wasn't easy. At every event, she was constantly reminded of her fame, not her talent. Questions about her personal life still dominated conversations, as if the world couldn't believe she was there to do anything other than profit from her image. But Victoria knew that if she wanted to earn the industry's respect, she needed to be more than a celebrity. She needed to be a genuine, dedicated businesswoman with something real to offer. Scene 5, Learning from Mistakes. Perseverance. Victoria revisits her first collection, critically analyzing each piece that didn't have the impact she'd hoped for. She begins taking notes and discusses with her team the mistakes she made and how she could do things differently next time. Her frustration is evident, but she's determined to keep going. The first collection was a learning experience, but not without its challenges. Not everything turned out as she had imagined. Some designs didn't receive the reception she had hoped for, and sales didn't reflect the quality she believed she had delivered. But it was at this moment that Victoria's true determination shone through. She knew that success didn't come without mistakes and failures, and instead of giving up, she took the criticism as a lesson. "I can do it," she told herself. "I will grow from this." Scene 6, The Turning Point. The first genuine appreciation. During an important show, a renowned fashion critic approaches Victoria and gives her a genuine compliment on her new collection. The smile on Victoria's face reflects a weight being lifted. She finally realizes that she is beginning to be recognized, not as the wife of a famous football player or as a former Spice Girl, but as a respected businesswoman and designer. The turning point came when Victoria, after years of perseverance, began to receive legitimate recognition as a designer. The first genuine praise from a respected critic was the sign that her dedication was paying off. She knew she still had a long way to go, but she felt she was finally on the right path, a path she had forged herself. Victoria Beckham's journey has not been easy. She has faced self-doubt, relentless criticism, and seemingly insurmountable obstacles. But her inner strength, passion for fashion, and unwavering drive to prove herself have made her one of the most respected entrepreneurs in the fashion world. She has learned, grown, and above all, never given up on her vision. In the business world, the only constant is change. For Victoria Beckham, being a successful businesswoman didn't just mean being excellent at design or creating clothes. It meant understanding and adapting to a constantly changing market. She knew that innovation was the key to staying relevant, and adaptation was the secret to continued growth. Victoria is in a meeting with her design team, examining new fabrics and exploring new technologies for her next collection. She's eager to experiment with innovative materials and more sustainable production methods, reflecting her commitment to innovation. She enthusiastically explains what she wants for the next collection, something that combines technology and style in unexpected ways. From the beginning of her fashion journey, Victoria knew that for her brand to stand out, she needed to go beyond the traditional. Innovation wasn't just an option, it was a necessity. Whether exploring new fabrics, incorporating design technologies, or seeking new, more sustainable forms of production, she was always ahead of the curve, trying to predict and even shape the future of fashion. Victoria understood that innovation wasn't just about what was new, but about what could be useful for the future of the industry. In a conference room, Victoria attends a presentation on changing consumer behavior, especially with the rise of e-commerce and the demand for more conscious shopping. She takes detailed notes and, with a keen eye, begins to discuss new marketing strategies to adapt her brand to this new consumer behavior. As the fashion market evolved, Victoria knew that her ability to adapt would ensure continued success. The market was changing, and she knew she needed to align with these new needs. The rise of online shopping, the growing demand for transparency in business practices, and the concern for sustainability were key factors that she needed to incorporate into her brand. Adapting was not a choice, but an obligation. However, it wasn't just about following market trends. Victoria needed to embrace these changes without losing the essence of her brand. Her brand has always been about elegance and sophistication, but also about being practical and accessible. Maintaining her identity while adapting to new demands was the biggest challenge she faced. Scene 3, The First Digital Collection. Innovating in marketing, Victoria is joined by her marketing team as they discuss an innovative strategy, launching her next collection exclusively online. With a digital presentation for her customers and followers, they discuss how to make this experience unique, using social media and e-commerce platforms to connect directly with her consumers. At a pivotal moment in her career, Victoria had the courage to innovate by launching her first collection digitally. In an era where the shopping experience was becoming increasingly digital, she didn't hesitate to explore new platforms and communication channels. Using social media and a digital showcase of her collection, she was one of the first to understand the importance of e-commerce and immersive online experiences, forever changing the way her brand connected with its audience. But it wasn't just a shift in marketing strategy, it was a new way of connecting with consumers. Victoria knew that the digital world wasn't just about selling, but about creating an experience. She wanted her customers to feel a closer connection to the brand, as if they were actively participating in the creative process. In a meeting with suppliers and designers, Victoria discusses how her next collection can incorporate more sustainable practices. She pays close attention to eco-friendly materials and production options that have a lower environmental impact. She discusses the importance of making the change now, even though she knows it can be challenging for traditional clothing production. In a world increasingly concerned with sustainability, Victoria had to adapt not only to market needs, but also to growing pressure for more responsible practices in fashion. Criticism of the fashion industry as one of the world's biggest polluters could not be ignored. Innovation was no longer limited to new collections, but also involved how to create fashion more consciously. For Victoria, integrating sustainability into her brand was essential, not just because it was trendy, but because it was the right thing to do. While change was challenging and, at times, risky, she knew that adaptation was the only way to stay relevant in the long term. Most importantly, she wanted her brand to be an example of how innovation and sustainability could go hand in hand. Victoria's office is buzzing with the launch of a new clothing line, fully digitalized and designed with recycled materials and cutting-edge technologies. Online sales have skyrocketed, and she observes the numbers with a sense of accomplishment. Her team celebrates the success of an innovative strategy that has connected with a new generation of consumers. Innovation brought the Victoria Beckham brand a new era of growth. By embracing technological and consumer shifts, she not only stayed ahead of the curve, but also redefined her brand. Her new collections, now more sustainable and digitally connected with consumers, were achieving unexpected success. She didn't just adapt to the market, she helped it transform. Adapting to the digital age and sustainability has proven to be a winning combination. Victoria's ability to integrate innovation and social awareness into her brand has positioned her as a key leader of a new generation of fashion entrepreneurs, those who not only create, but also influence and educate. In the business world, innovation is not a choice, but a necessity. Victoria Beckham knew this from the beginning, and her ability to adapt her brand to market changes while remaining true to her vision and values has been key to her enduring success. Her brand is not just a reflection of who she is, but of what she represents for the future of fashion. Constant evolution. The fashion world is relentless. Each season, collections are tested, styles are evaluated, and brands are challenged to reinvent themselves. But for Victoria Beckham, the journey was a mix of passion, persistence, and the constant pursuit of perfection. Her journey, which began with uncertainty and criticism, soon turned into a success story. Scene 1. The growth of the first collections. In a sophisticated atelier, Victoria observes the runway show of her latest collection. She watches with satisfaction as models parade in her designs, and her eye for detail is meticulous. When the collection launches, the buzz on social media and in fashion magazines is instant. Soon after the launch of her first collection, the industry began to realize the power of the Victoria Beckham brand. The pieces were not only well-made, they were revolutionary. Every dress, every garment reflected her vision, simple yet powerful. Elegance. Although her entry into the market was met with skepticism, subsequent collections proved that her vision was on the right track. sales increased, and with it, Victoria's confidence in her brand's ability to establish itself as a fashion icon. But it wasn't just her name that was at stake. Victoria knew from the beginning that to succeed, her brand needed to be more than just a clothing line. It needed to have something real to offer. Her couture collections began to be acclaimed by critics and consumers alike, proving that talent and dedication were, indeed, behind the name. Dinner 2. Consolidating the brand internationally, Victoria enters one of her stores. Decorated with her minimalist and elegant style, stores in London, New York, and Paris begin to stand out as exclusive hubs filled with customers eager to purchase her creations. Recognition begins to spread, and her brand becomes synonymous with sophistication. As her collections evolved, the Victoria Beckham brand became an international reference. Physical stores in key cities like London, New York, and Paris began to attract a loyal clientele. It was no longer just about who wore her clothes, but about what her brand represented, the expression of a modern, sophisticated, and authentic woman. The success of her collections was not only a reflection of her talent, but of her ability to expand intelligently and thoughtfully, without rushing processes, always maintaining quality and exclusivity. The success of her collections also brought visibility to her brand in a way Victoria couldn't have initially imagined. She knew that quality and vision had to be supported by solid business management, rather than simply basking in fame. She dedicated herself to structuring her company so that it would be able to grow sustainably and innovatively. Victoria receives an award for excellence in the fashion world at a glamorous event. As she takes the stage to accept the award, the audience applauds, recognizing her successful career. Her smile is one of pride and gratitude, reflecting how much she has overcome over time. Victoria became one of the most respected designers of her generation. Her name became associated with more than just fame. It became synonymous with talent, consistency, and innovation. Her journey as an entrepreneur was marked by building a solid brand that not only competed with fashion giants, but also challenged them to think differently. In 2014, the Victoria Beckham brand received a significant honor, an award for excellence in the fashion world. This moment was public recognition of a trajectory marked by determination, innovation, and, above all, a clear vision for the future. The fashion industry had finally recognized what many already knew. Victoria Beckham was more than a former celebrity. She was a businesswoman who was redefining the game. Victoria sits in her boardroom, discussing plans to expand her line, to include accessories and even cosmetics. She smiles at the success of her new handbag and sunglasses collections, which have become as sought after as her clothing. The success of her clothing collections took Victoria to a new stage in her development as a businesswoman. She strategically diversified her brand, introducing accessories and other luxury products, such as handbags and sunglasses, which quickly became wardrobe staples for many women. Her vision of a brand that represented more than just clothing was coming to fruition. The name Victoria Beckham was becoming a true lifestyle symbol. In addition to its clothing line, the brand expanded into the beauty and cosmetics market, a bold move that reflected Victoria's vision that aesthetics and style should be approached holistically. Her ability to diversify and expand without losing the essence of her brand was one of the greatest achievements of her career. As an entrepreneur, a panoramic view shows Victoria Beckham's Tokyo store, with customers eager to enter. The brand's logo is globally recognized, and the media highlights each new collection as a major event. On the fashion calendar, Victoria Beckham's global empire was solidifying itself with each new store opening, each new collection launched. She wasn't just building a fashion brand, but a true empire, one that had a real impact on the industry, not only in terms of sales, but also in how fashion should be perceived. Women around the world were beginning to see Victoria as a beacon of style, power, and authenticity. Her evolution from pop singer to successful businesswoman was complete. Victoria Beckham's success didn't come overnight. She faced the challenges of the fashion industry with a focused vision and an unwavering commitment to her identity and values. Her fashion collections went from an initial experiment to a benchmark of excellence. and her evolution as an entrepreneur was marked by the construction of a solid, authentic brand adapted to the needs of the new consumer. Today, Victoria Beckham is more than a fashion designer. She is a global entrepreneur who, with intelligence, vision, and hard work, has built a legacy in the fashion world. Her collections continue to be a benchmark for sophistication, innovation, and elegance, and her journey continues to inspire entrepreneurs around the world. Building a brand in the fashion world isn't just about design and quality. It's also about how the brand is perceived by the world. From the beginning of her journey, Victoria Beckham understood that communication, vision, and marketing strategy would be fundamental to consolidating her brand. She didn't just want to sell clothes, but to create a unique experience for her consumers. And it was this strategic vision that allowed her brand to establish itself as a global icon. In a meeting with her marketing team, Victoria discusses the importance of maintaining authenticity and sophistication in everything her brand represents. She emphasizes how her brand isn't just about clothing, but about conveying a sense of confidence and empowerment to women. Victoria's vision for her brand was clear from the beginning. She wanted each piece of clothing to reflect her own identity, sophisticated, modern, and authentic. For her, fashion shouldn't just be something to wear, but something that empowers the woman who wears it. Her brand wasn't about following trends, but about creating a timeless aesthetic that transcended fads. This vision became the foundation of her brand's entire marketing strategy. This vision helped build a deep connection with their target audience. The women who wore their clothes weren't just choosing a product, they were choosing a lifestyle, philosophy, and it was this vision that translated into every aspect of their brand's marketing, creating a richer, more meaningful experience for their consumers. Victoria sits in front of a computer screen, observing her brand's interactions on social media. She realizes the direct connection her brand has with fans. While answering some questions from her Instagram followers, her social media presence is increasingly becoming a direct channel of communication with her audience. From the very beginning, Victoria understood the power of social media to directly connect her brand with its consumers. She didn't see social media as just a promotional tool, but as an opportunity to establish authentic and engaging communication with her followers. By interacting directly with her fans, sharing her creative processes, inspirations, and even her personal life, she created a community around her brand, making it more accessible and real. Victoria knew that for a brand to be successful on the global stage, it needed to be present where consumers were, and that meant being active. On digital platforms, she not only used social media to promote her collections, but also to humanize her brand and make it more relatable. This not only expanded her customer base, but also built consumer loyalty, creating a passionate and loyal fan base. Victoria is speaking with a group of fashion influencers at an exclusive event. For the launch of her new collection, they are discussing how she can use their platforms to promote the new line in an authentic and engaging way. Victoria emphasizes the importance of choosing influencers who share her brand's values. One of Victoria's most effective marketing strategies was partnering with influencers and key figures in the fashion world. She knew that in today's market, digital word of mouth and recommendations from influencers could be key to growing her brand. But more than simply reaching out to popular celebrities, Victoria focused on working with influencers who shared her brand's values and vision. This influencer marketing helped establish her brand in a genuine and powerful way. By associating her line with influencers who genuinely loved what she represented, Victoria was able to create a more personal connection with her audience. The credibility of these partnerships was key to reaching a wider and more diverse audience, from fashionistas to potential customers looking for something authentic and quality. At a launch event for a new clothing collection, Victoria observes the guests, who are dazzled by the event's exclusivity. The pieces are limited, and the selection of buyers is limited. The atmosphere creates a sense of desire and exclusivity. Victoria Beckham's marketing strategy also involved creating exclusivity around her collections. By organizing exclusive launches and limited collaborations, She created a real desire in her consumers. Limited editions not only created a sense of urgency, but also made owning a Victoria Beckham piece a status symbol. These events, steeped in exclusivity and sophistication, were designed to make the shopping experience as luxurious as the pieces themselves. Rather than launching mass collections, Victoria knew that limiting the availability of pieces was a way to add value to her brand. This not only made consumers feel special, but also elevated their perception of the brand. Victoria is in a meeting with her international team, discussing marketing strategies to expand her brand into new markets, such as Asia and the Middle East. She emphasizes the importance of adapting her marketing campaigns to the cultural specificities of each region, ensuring her brand resonates with diverse audiences around the world. As her brand expanded internationally, Victoria knew adaptation was key. Each market had its own cultural characteristics, and she needed to adjust her marketing strategy to resonate with different audiences. She strategically partnered with local influencers and tailored her communications to ensure the brand's message resonated, while respecting the norms and expectations of each region. This international marketing approach was one of the key factors that helped establish Victoria Beckham as a global brand. By expanding carefully and strategically, she not only increased her global presence, but also cemented her position as one of the leading luxury brands today. Victoria Beckham's marketing strategy was a brilliant example of how a clear vision, combined with the right digital marketing tools, can transform a fashion brand into a global empire. Her ability to leverage social media, strategic partnerships, exclusivity, and a thoughtful global approach not only established her brand in the market, but also positioned her as one of the most influential and respected figures in the fashion industry. In the fashion world, where trends change every season and fads dominate the market, being authentic and true to your vision can be a challenge. But Victoria Beckham, from the beginning of her career as an entrepreneur, understood that the true key to success was being true to herself and not following the passing trends that often dominate the fashion industry. Victoria is alone in her office, looking at her first collections. She reflects on her decision to create a fashion brand that went beyond the Posh Spice image. She recalls the challenges she faced and the criticism that arose shortly after its launch, but remains firm in her decision to focus on sophistication and elegance, rather than following popular trends. When Victoria decided to launch her own clothing line, many expected her to succumb to the ephemeral trends of fashion. The pressure to go with the flow and create something that was merely commercially viable was ever present. But Victoria knew that if she wanted to create something lasting, she couldn't follow the trends of the moment. Her vision was clear. She wanted to build a brand based on authenticity, timeless elegance, and the sophistication that has always been her hallmark. Fashion has always been full of temptations, the latest trends, the cries for innovation that saturate the runways. But while many surrender to these external forces, Victoria chose to follow her own intuition and remain true to the style and values that have defined her personal and professional trajectory. Scene 2. Facing criticism, the power of persistence. Victoria is in a meeting with her team, discussing a collection that hasn't had the expected impact. The criticism has been harsh, and she receives negative feedback about the more classic and sophisticated style she chose for the collection. She listens attentively, but doesn't let doubt discourage her. Instead, she urges everyone to focus on how to improve while maintaining the brand's essence. The criticism, at first, wasn't easy to swallow. Many questioned whether her classic, more reserved style would be able to win over a modern audience who seemed eager for new things and experimentation. But Victoria, even in the face of criticism, remained calm. She knew her mission wasn't to please everyone, but to create a brand that was truly authentic, even if that meant swimming against the current. Victoria's persistence came from a deep place of confidence in her vision. She knew that trends would fade, but truly authentic style would stand the test of time. She wasn't there to be just another celebrity launching a clothing line. She wanted to be recognized as a real designer with a unique aesthetic and a strong message. Victoria examines a collection from her latest clothing line, which reflects her vision: classic, timeless pieces that can be worn in multiple ways over the years. She smiles as she realizes that, even in a market where consumer trends are so fast-paced, her clothes stand out for their durability and versatility. Victoria always believed that fashion shouldn't be fleeting, but enduring. While many were concerned with creating pieces that followed the latest trends, she chose to focus on the essentials: elegant, simple, and timeless pieces. Her style wasn't about being the latest thing, but about being a clothing brand that women could wear for years without losing its relevance. By maintaining her vision of creating timeless, functional fashion, Victoria not only steered clear of trends, but also built a solid foundation for her brand. The women who wore her clothes weren't just choosing a seasonal trend, they were investing in something lasting, something that reflected their lifestyle and values. Victoria's office is full of designers and marketers celebrating the success of her latest collection. She sees the brand's growth in its stores around the world and how the customer base is stronger than ever. Pieces from her collection are being seen on celebrities and powerful women, all drawn to the brand's authenticity. Over time, Victoria's choice to be authentic and maintain her vision paid off. Her brand not only grew, but flourished. The public began to realize that her brand was more concerned with delivering quality and design that would stand the test of time rather than following temporary trends. Collections began to be sought after not just for their sophistication, but for the vision behind them. Victoria's authenticity appealed to women seeking something deeper in fashion. They weren't just buying clothes, they were buying a piece of her vision. And by persisting in creating a legacy that was more than a reaction to fashion trends, Victoria built something that became truly iconic. Scene 5. The importance of maintaining vision in the midst of success. Victoria is at a gala event, being recognized for her contributions to the fashion world. While chatting with other designers, she reflects on her journey. She realizes that while success has been rewarding, the most important thing was staying true to her vision, which got her there. Although success came over time, Victoria never lost sight of what truly drove her: her vision of creating something authentic and true. She knew that staying relevant would require more than just following the next trend. She needed, above all, to stay true to her own essence and maintain the vision that had guided her from the beginning. Today, Victoria is seen as one of the most respected entrepreneurs in fashion, and her brand is synonymous with quality, sophistication, and vision. She has proven that being authentic and persistent, sticking to your own vision, and not being seduced by trends is not only possible, but is the path to lasting success. Final narration. Victoria Beckham's journey teaches us a fundamental lesson. In the fashion world, where trends can be fleeting, true success comes from being true to yourself. Victoria didn't get caught up in trends. She stuck to her vision, persisted in the face of criticism, and built a brand that represents much more than clothes. It represents authenticity, confidence, and the courage to be who you truly are. Victoria Beckham's journey as an entrepreneur and designer was not only built on her talent, but also on strategic partnerships and the development of a solid network of contacts. In the business world, no success is achieved alone, and Victoria knew from the beginning that surrounding herself with the right people and forming strategic alliances would be crucial to the growth and expansion of her brand. Victoria is in a meeting with a renowned fashion designer and production manager, discussing how he can help her refine her collections and production strategies. She knows that to be successful, she will need the support of people with the necessary expertise, not only in design, but also in business operations. From the beginning, Victoria knew that her success depended not only on her creative vision, but on her ability to build a network of talented and trusted professionals. Over the years, she forged partnerships with renowned designers, experienced production managers, and business consultants, creating a solid foundation that would help her brand expand and grow stronger. These partnerships were crucial to ensuring her vision was flawlessly brought to life. Victoria invested in people with the technical and strategic expertise needed to make her brand thrive. She wasn't just building a clothing collection, but a network of professionals who shared her commitment to quality and excellence. Victoria meets with investors and high-level executives to discuss a new round of investment in her brand. She presents a detailed plan to expand her operations, open new stores, and increase production. While the investors agree to support her growth due to her commitment to the long-term vision and her market potential, partnerships with investors were a fundamental step in ensuring the brand's growth and sustainability. In a competitive market, financial management and the ability to raise the capital needed to expand her brand were essential. Victoria knew how to identify investors who not only believed in her talent, but also shared her vision of building a solid and lasting brand. Mutual trust was the foundation of her financial partners, HIPs, allowing the brand to expand globally. These financial partners gave Victoria the confidence and resources needed to face the challenges of scaling its operation. They were not only sources of capital, but also valuable strategic allies who brought expertise and knowledge to the business. Victoria attends a launch event with a prominent celebrity wearing one of her designs. She watches with satisfaction as photos of the celebrity are shared on social media, generating a significant increase in interest in her brand. Partnering with renowned celebrities and influencers has helped increase the visibility of her collection. Partnerships with celebrities and influencers have played a vital role in building Victoria Beckham's brand in a world where digital visibility is crucial. She knew that associating her brand with influential figures would help create a more personal connection with her consumers. But unlike many brands that only sought out popular celebrities, Victoria made a point of selecting influencers who aligned with her brand values. These partnerships weren't just about generating quick publicity, but also about building a loyal fan base who saw Victoria as a true beacon of style and authenticity. The careful selection of influencers was a strategy that reflected Victoria's commitment to the exclusivity and prestige of her brand. Victoria is meeting with executives from international luxury brands to discuss a couture collaboration. Partnering with renowned brands has helped expand her brand's global reach, bringing new opportunities and increasing demand for her collections. Strategic collaborations with other luxury brands have also played a vital role in Victoria Beckham's growth. By associating her brand with other renowned fashion houses, she not only increased international exposure, but also strengthened her position as a sought-after luxury brand. These partnerships opened doors to exclusive markets and new distribution channels, allowing her brand to reach an even wider audience. These collaborations were a perfect example of how networking and building strategic alliances can accelerate a brand's growth, bringing not only visibility, but also credibility. They helped establish Victoria as an influential figure on the global fashion scene. In an intimate meeting room, Victoria is speaking with a business mentor who is advising her on the next step in her career. They discuss expansion plans, new trends, and how to maintain brand integrity as the company grows. Sharing ideas and relying on outside counsel helps Victoria make more informed strategic decisions. Beyond business partnerships, Victoria also knew the importance of mentors and advisors in her journey. She was careful to surround herself with a support network of reputable figures from the fashion industry and business, who offered valuable advice and helped guide her through the challenges of business growth. These mentoring and strategic partnership relationships helped Victoria make informed decisions and avoid common pitfalls that could jeopardize her brand's growth. They provided the foundation she needed to make bold decisions while maintaining control of the brand's vision and values. Victoria and her team observe a sales chart that demonstrates the brand's exponential growth in international markets. They celebrate the success of the partnerships that have helped establish the Victoria Beckham brand as a global presence, with a presence in new markets and a diverse customer base. Over the years, building a strong network of partnerships has been key to the brand's expansion. Each strategic alliance, whether financial, creative, or commercial, has been a crucial piece in the puzzle that has led Victoria Beckham to become a globally recognized luxury brand. These partnerships have not only helped increase sales, but also ensured that the brand maintains its integrity, authenticity, and commitment to quality. With the support of a strong network of partners, Victoria has successfully expanded into new markets, diversified her offerings, and reached a global audience. Each step was taken with careful strategy and the support of allies who shared her vision, enabling the brand to become a fashion empire that continues to grow. Final narration. Ultimately, Victoria Beckham's success as an entrepreneur and designer was not achieved solely by her talent, but by her ability to build and cultivate valuable partnerships. Building a strong business network, which included investors, influencers, mentors, and strategic collaborators, was essential to cementing her brand as one of the most powerful and respected in the fashion world. Victoria Beckham, one of the most respected entrepreneurs in contemporary fashion, has never been content with her past success. For her, the journey never ends. She continues to evolve, expand, and explore new frontiers. With each new step, Victoria seeks ways to innovate, maintaining the brand's essence while embracing the challenges and opportunities that the future brings. Victoria discusses her brand's expansion plans for new emerging markets in a meeting. She's studying demographics and consumer behaviors in Asian and Latin American countries. Her team is discussing how to adapt her clothing line and marketing for these new regions, while maintaining the brand's integrity. International expansion has always been a priority for Victoria Beckham. Her brand, already established in traditional markets like Europe and North America, is now seeking new horizons in regions like Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Victoria's vision is clear. She wants the brand to be global, but also sensitive to local needs and cultures. For her, expansion doesn't just mean increasing sales, but connecting her brand with new audiences in an authentic way. Victoria understands that thriving in international markets requires more than just translating marketing. She needs to adapt her approach to ensure her aesthetic and values resonate with consumers around the world, respecting their traditions and tastes. Victoria and her technology team are meeting to discuss e-commerce innovations. They discuss the future of online shopping, from augmented reality or experiences to product personalization. Victoria, always ahead of her time, is exploring how her brand can provide a unique and immersive shopping experience for consumers. Using cutting-edge technology in the digital world, the opportunities for innovation are endless. Victoria Beckham understands that the future of commerce lies in increasingly personalized and immersive shopping experiences. Her technology team is exploring how to integrate augmented reality (AR) into the shopping process, allowing consumers to virtually try on clothes without leaving home. By embracing new e-commerce technologies, Victoria aims to make the shopping experience more interactive and personalized, ensuring that customers feel connected to her brand in a new and exciting way. Furthermore, personalization is a priority for the future. Victoria is investing in artificial intelligence to offer product recommendations and create more personalized shopping experiences based on each consumer's behavior and preferences. For her, digital innovation is not just about convenience, but also about creating a more intimate and unique experience for her customers. Victoria is in a meeting with her suppliers, discussing new sustainable production methods. She is committed to reducing the environmental impact of her collections and is exploring the use of eco-friendly fabrics, more efficient manufacturing processes, and reducing waste in clothing design. Her vision is clear. The fashion of the future must be sustainable. The future of fashion cannot be ignored in terms of sustainability. For Victoria Beckham, this isn't just a trend, it's a responsibility. Over the next few years, she will continue to expand her line with a focus on more environmentally friendly production practices. From using sustainable fabrics to improving manufacturing practices to reduce waste, Victoria is working to create a clothing line that not only meets her consumers' expectations, but is also respectful of the environment. She sees the future of fashion as something that needs to be regenerative, not just sustainable. The use of organic, recycled, and biodegradable materials will be one of the most important innovations for upcoming collections. Victoria Beckham is determined to lead the conscious fashion movement by integrating these practices into her brand without compromising aesthetics and design. Scene 4. Expansion into new products. The beauty and lifestyle line. Victoria Beckham is in a meeting with her beauty product development team. She's discussing the creation of her own cosmetics line, reflecting her brand's minimalist and sophisticated aesthetic. The line will include skincare and makeup products, maintaining the high-quality standards for which her brand is known. Diversifying her brand is one of Victoria's next big steps. She is exploring expansion into the beauty and lifestyle market, creating a cosmetics line that aligns with the brand's philosophy of elegance and sophistication. The Victoria Beckham beauty line will not just be a makeup line, but an extension of her lifestyle, reflecting her commitment to quality, innovation, and a healthy lifestyle. With a cosmetics line designed to meet the needs of modern women, Victoria aims to offer her customers products that complement her fashion brand, creating a complete experience. Expanding into beauty will allow her to connect even further with her fan base, offering them more than just clothes, but a true journey of style and self-confidence. At a gala event, Victoria watches her collections being presented on the runway. With the audience applauding, she reflects on her journey, knowing that, beyond her fashion brand, she also plays an important role as a mentor and influencer. In the fashion world, her social media presence and engagement with other brands and designers have created a legacy that goes beyond clothing. Besides being a successful businesswoman, Victoria Beckham is building a cultural legacy. She's not just a fashion designer, she's an inspiration to other women and designers. Her ability to positively influence the fashion industry goes beyond the aesthetics of her collections. Victoria has become a leading figure in the business world, demonstrating that with vision, authenticity, and persistence, it's possible to change the narrative and create a lasting impact. In the years to come, she will continue to be a powerful voice in the industry, helping to shape the future of fashion and female entrepreneurship. Her brand, which began with a unique vision and a drive to innovate, is now poised to leave a significant legacy, not just as a luxury brand, but as a symbol of change and respect for the future. Victoria Beckham continues to expand her brand in bold and innovative ways. She doesn't just observe the future, she shapes it. Her journey is far from over, and the innovations to come, whether in sustainability, digital personalization, or product diversification, will keep her brand at the forefront, inspiring future generations of women and entrepreneurs. In recent years, fashion has faced an urgent need for transformation. With growing pressure to reduce environmental impact, Victoria Beckham has become a leader of change, embracing the responsibility of integrating sustainable practices into her business. Her brand, which began with the pursuit of elegance and sophistication, now carries a firm commitment to a more conscious and responsible future. Victoria sits in her office, poring over a series of reports on the environmental impact of the fashion industry. She notices graphs about fabric waste, environmentally damaging production processes, and the growing pressure for more responsible practices. She focuses, knowing her brand can be a positive force for change. As an entrepreneur, Victoria didn't turn a blind eye to the environmental challenges facing the fashion industry. She knew that fashion, like many other industries, was one of the biggest contributors to global pollution and the waste of natural resources. For her, adopting more sustainable practices wasn't just a trend, but a fundamental responsibility she needed to embrace for the future. She knew that to stay ahead, she needed to make a difference. It wasn't just about adapting her brand to market demands, but about acting as an advocate for change within a system that has historically contributed to significant environmental impact. In a studio, Victoria talks with her design team about using organic and recycled fabrics in her upcoming collection. They discuss how to find suppliers who share the same vision and ensure each piece is made with more environmentally friendly materials. Victoria touches a sample of recycled fabric and comments on the importance of starting to change the way the industry creates fashion. Victoria was one of the first to embrace the use of more sustainable materials, such as organic and recycled fabrics, in her collections. She began exploring new ways to create clothes that were not only beautiful and stylish, but also had a lower environmental impact. She moved away from synthetic materials and began looking for more eco-friendly alternatives, such as organic, cotton, linen, and recycled fabrics, ensuring her brand maintained a commitment to less waste and greater responsibility. By choosing to work with suppliers who shared her vision, Victoria was creating a more sustainable supply chain where everyone from design to production played a role in environmental preservation. She believed that every material choice could make a difference. Victoria watches a dress from her new collection being finished, and she insists that it be a piece women can wear for years to come. She discusses with her designers the importance of creating durable, high-quality clothing that not only stands the test of time, but also has no negative impact on the environment. In addition to using sustainable materials, Victoria focused on an equally important aspect: designing clothes that would last. In a world where fast, disposable fashion dominates, she wanted to create pieces that would stand the test of time, both in style and quality. For her, true luxury wasn't about having more clothes, but about having pieces that were made to last, rather than being consumed and discarded after a few seasons. Each collection was designed to be timeless, ensuring that the clothes didn't quickly become obsolete. By embracing this principle, Victoria not only created clothes that could be worn for years to come, but also helped combat the culture of disposable fashion, which is one of the biggest environmental problems in the industry. Scene 4. Transparency and education. Sharing your journey, Victoria is in an interview with a major fashion publication. She speaks passionately about the choices she's made to make her brand more sustainable. She discusses the use of organic materials, the challenges she's faced, and how she's working to reduce the carbon footprint of her production. She makes it clear that being transparent about her actions is crucial to change. Transparency became a core part of Victoria's mission. She knew it wasn't enough to adopt more sustainable practices. She needed to share this with her audience and the world. In numerous interviews and campaigns, she spoke candidly about the challenges and decisions she made to transform her brand. She wanted other brands to follow her example, and she believed that education was the key to real change in the industry. Victoria was willing to be honest about the mistakes she made and the challenges she faced along the way. She knew that change doesn't happen overnight, but by sharing her journey and inspiring other designers to do the same, she was helping to create a more conscious and responsible industry. Victoria is attending a meeting with a renowned environmental organization to discuss how her brand can collaborate to promote more sustainable practices. In the fashion industry, she shares her intentions to increase investment in green technologies and continue working with organizations that advocate for sustainability in the industry. Victoria has also been actively involved with environmental organizations, lending her influence to promote greener practices in the industry. She has worked with various NGOs and initiatives that seek to reduce the environmental damage caused by fashion and support ethical and sustainable practices. She hasn't limited herself to her own collections, but has committed to making a difference within the industry as a whole. Partnerships with these organizations have been crucial in expanding the impact of their actions, helping to elevate the conversation about sustainability in fashion and pressuring other brands to adapt to new, more environmentally friendly production methods. Victoria, now on a tour of her new sustainable factory, observes with satisfaction the operations that adhere to the strictest environmental practices. She smiles at the changes she's implemented, knowing her journey is just beginning. The future of fashion is about sustainability, and Victoria Beckham is committed to being a leader in this transformation. She continues to make changes to her production, seeking new ways to reduce environmental impact while creating luxury fashion that women love. She knows her journey to sustainability is far from over, but she is determined to keep making a difference. Victoria Beckham has become an example of how a brand can be successful while also being environmentally responsible. Her vision for fashion is a reflection of her commitment to a greener, more conscious future. By transforming her own brand and inspiring others to follow her example, she is shaping a future where beauty, luxury, and environmental responsibility go hand in hand.